back. I hope how was lunch? Good. Fantastic. The team, because I was busy doing things, they made my plate for me. And Jessica, she said, what do you like on your potatoes, your salad? I'm like, just bring it. Bring it. And I sat down, and a friend of mine just the other day posted an image on Facebook to mark off the foods on this chart that there's just no way you would eat. No way you would eat. There's only one thing that I can think of. I've tried I eat guinea pig in Ecuador, or chantacuros, which are like grub worms. They're great. But you give me olives, and I'm out. So I sat down, and I was like, oh, crisis. It was fantastic. Luckily, olives, it's not a sauce, so they're easy to move. But I found it interesting. The only thing I could possibly think of that there's just not going to happen. All right, welcome back. We are in for a treat. We have got 4 fantastic people about to come up on the stage, and also my friend Tyrone. I love to give him. He's a great guy. No, you know what? Today, guys, starting a business is a place where a lot of us are, or we're in the early stages, or even maybe we're a little ways in. But it can be daunting. It can be difficult. It's easy to do, but it also makes sometimes the space a little crowded because there's so much competition and because it's become so easy to do. So to help us kind of navigate that, we've got this incredible panel about to come up to the stage, led by Marc Bowker, who is a certified coach. He lives here in Lima. He is, what? You do live in, right? You live in Lima. I thought you were like hoping I was going to fall. I'm going to let them, he's going to bring everybody up. He's going to introduce everybody. So let's just welcome our small business panel up to the stage with a big round of applause. Marc Bowker and family. Come on up. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have like some music or energy?
Where's the music?
Someone specifically asked me for a walk-up song.
We've got assigned seats for you.
So what's up with that one?
This is Tyrone's.
You are really giving Tyrone a hard time.
That's fine. Give it up for our panel, guys.
All right. Well, that was kind of uneventful.
Thank you.
That's okay. Just so everyone is clear, we all love Tyrone. I don't know why Chad hates him. No. Oh, wait. There is a story, but that will be told at the VIP party tonight. So let's bust right into it. And I'm going to ask everybody to introduce yourselves, kind of name, age, location, astrological sign, and blood type. Let us all know why you're here.
Hey everybody, I'm Coach Will. I own a small business called Lifestyle Coaching Academy. I'm a certified habit and lifestyle coach. Oh, I'm 36.
Hi everyone, my name is Asha Zayn. You can call me AZ. My pronouns are they, them. I am an entrepreneur by way of supporting social entrepreneurs across the country, as well as owning 2 vending businesses.
I'm Tyrone Russell. My company is Ellipses and Ampersand. We are a strategy and storytelling business for small businesses. 54, single, 6'4". I live in Columbus. Catch me on all the socials, Tyrone wherever. Right, there we go.
Oh, I've got my own microphone. My name's Audree Gerasimchik. I own Lima Social House here in Lima. I'm a Taurus.
I really would like to know more about the social hearse, but and because Chad didn't mention it, because there may be some people out there who don't know who I am, I own Alter Ego Comics in downtown Lima. That's my small business. Paul, stop, please. We're limited time here, but thank you. So let's just, we'll start in reverse order. So we'll start with Audree down in the end. If anyone is thinking about starting their own business, what do you wish someone had told you before you did?
I would say that I wish that somebody would told me all of my insecurities, all of my negative qualities in myself get put front and center, even if you don't want them to. Being a leader was one for myself. Being organized with schedules and to-do lists, all things that I was terrible at. Didn't know it until I had to. Now, daily to-do lists, monthly to-do lists are a normal thing for me. So that was definitely something I wish somebody would have told me.
I wish somebody would have told me that none of my mistakes were permanent. I wish somebody would have told me, yeah, you are really gonna fuck some stuff up, right? And it's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I think I wish someone would have told me that I wouldn't have been prepared enough before starting. You just have to start because some things you just won't know until you need to know them.
I wish somebody would have told me to document all of my thoughts on the business, my vision of it, because as a small business owner, we do go through imposter syndrome. And to be able to look back at those goals, those visions that we had to remind us who we are and what we do and why we do it.
Really great answers, everybody. I'm going to share just one bit that I shared with Jeremy, one of our speakers this afternoon. Everything that you're learning today and everything that you've learned leading up to the launch of your business, life-changing wisdom means nothing if you don't live it. So the stuff that you're learning in this room today, writing it down in a notebook means nothing. You have to take action on it. You have to live the stuff in order for it to mean something. So next question, and we'll just reverse order. Social media shows everyone's highlight reel, the wins, the aesthetics, the growth. What is a real and messy challenge you encountered while building your business?
The biggest challenge is understanding that failure is only stepping stones to success.
That was a really good answer. Let's see. Could you ask me the question again, Mark?
Sure. So social media, everyone wants to show what's going well, the highlight reel. What's a real and messy challenge you encountered while building your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say dealing with the state transparently as a vending machine owner, navigating licenses and permits was a bit of something that was intimidating because I needed to have the appropriate language to speak around the types of license and permits I needed and how that impacted my business decisions. So yeah, that's what I would share.
Mine is forming a relationship, working relationship with my business partner, because I thought, oh, it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, and I'm sitting at home sometimes thinking, oh, girl. So, but that's it, really figuring out a way to navigate communication.
My husband's my business partner, so I get it. I would say an unexpected challenge that we had opening our restaurant was a lot of the construction at the beginning. We had a lot of, this will be done by this date, so let's plan on hiring people, let's get everything rolled out, let's start planning the menu. Construction got pushed back more times than I like to admit, and that was our first lesson in learning how to pivot. You're going to have a plan, but you're always going to have a plan B.
And that's a great one, and I think it probably applies to all of us up here and many of you in the room, is that you need plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because it's very rare that plan A is the winner. So don't get frustrated if the first plan doesn't work, and be prepared with those additional backup plans. All right, we'll start with Audree. And you kind of alluded to this in the first question, but what unexpected lessons about yourself has entrepreneurship taught you, and how has that changed your business leadership style?
Absolutely. I think being a leader I've learned how to communicate more. As a business owner, you have your vision and your plans and this is what I want it to look like 5 years down the road, 10 years, but to be able to fully communicate it to your team, your business partner, and to your customers is very vital and important when having a successful business, because if they see your vision, then they believe in you, and that becomes their vision also.
Mine has really been being able to ask for help. As a solopreneur, like, oh, they always say solopreneur. So you got to do it by yourself. And the moment I thought, oh, well, I need to start asking for help, everything started to open up. And I think it makes me a better leader and business owner when I'm able to say, you know what, this is one of the things that I actually can't do on my own. And getting help for it makes everything feel lighter. Then it's sunshine and rainbows.
Okay. I would say maximizing my platform as an individual. So I am operationally driven by heart in my 9 to 5. So I'm very passionate about what happens in the background to bring something to light. So I'm working to challenge myself in being in spaces where people can hear and see my vision, similar to what you had shared, and being able to speak to that in a way that is authentic to who I am, while also showcasing the impact that I'm looking to have on my community.
Would you repeat that one more time for me?
What unexpected, by the end of this, it's like, wait a minute, what was the question? What unexpected lessons about yourself has entrepreneurship taught you, and how has that changed your business leadership style?
That I can make it through difficult times that I never thought I'd be able to. And being able to teach others through those trials, I believe has made me a better leader.
And when you said that, the thought that immediately popped into my head was what Mark said during his presentation before lunch, in that if it scares me, I say yes to it. If it scares me, I do it, because your infinite potential is on the other side of your comfort zone. None of us would be sitting up here if we didn't say yes to something that was scary, and something for all of you hopefully to keep in mind as well. Speaking of scary, this next question: was there a moment when fear, self-doubt, or burnout almost got the best of you? What did you do with it? And what would you tell someone in this room experiencing that moment right now?
So a moment that fear got me was when people started asking me to help them, really, and to teach them how to become better. I didn't feel that, and I didn't think as well, that I was the one to lead people into a better life. So that right there was probably the biggest hurdle I had to overcome to launch my business. And what I would suggest to anybody that wants to start something, follow your heart, follow your dreams. I know that sounds pretty cliche, but just go for it. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You got to try again. We all rode a bike before. We were never good at it the first time. Get back on and start pedaling.
And I'm going to ask you to repeat the question again, Mark, please.
No worries. Yeah. I should have put these on slides, and then we could have had them on the screen. Was there a moment when fear, self-doubt, or burnout almost got the best of you? What did you do with it, and what would you tell someone in this room experiencing that moment right now?
Okay, thank you. So that question was framed in past tense, but I am presently continuously navigating that, really having to wrap my head around my fear not impacting the decisions that I'm making. So acknowledging that fear and then saying, what am I going to do to lessen it? Whether that be informing myself, connecting with community, challenging myself in real time so that I'm able to put that fear at bay and make informed decisions, not fueled by my feelings. Because I constantly remind myself that fear is a feeling that passes through my body, but it's not something that defines me. So when I tie that to entrepreneurship, I really want to emphasize that I hold multiple identities, and I do not want to shrink myself in a space where people may inherently be doing that because of how I take up space. So that really aids me in navigating that.
It's funny that you say it's in real time because it is very present. And for me, it's about finding the right chunks of information from the right people, because as a business owner, I've come from a family where my people were worked for the government, worked for the state, and they had good jobs. And the fact that I'm the black sheep in the family who's like, oh, I've got to go start my own business. If I listened to my family, I would not be here. So this is a good room for that, to fix that, because when you're around other people who get it and are doing what you're doing, and some are more successful than me, then being able to learn from the people who are doing well at what I want to do, that's how you sort of fix a lot of the fear.
I agree with that also. Fear is in real time. And thinking about a specific fear is kind of hard for me because there are so many. But another word that comes into mind is regret. And so if I feel like there's something that I fear, what's worse, fearing something or regretting something? So to me, regretting something is, it pushes me into facing what I fear.
And I'm guessing that fear of regret played a role in all of us starting our businesses. It's that old, what if I don't do this? Feeling that pull to become an entrepreneur. What's the worst that could happen? But what if I don't do this? I don't want to be on my deathbed at 85 years old, living with regret of never having moved forward. And you can apply that to business or your personal life or whatever, that what's the worst that could happen? Just move forward with it. And the fact that we're never exonerated from the pain, the uncertainty, the constant hard work that comes with being an entrepreneur. It's not like every day is you wake up and it's a breeze. Every day there's going to be something. And as a small business owner, realizing that that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a challenge every day that we get up, and that's why we do this. We signed up to ride the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, so don't be surprised when you're upside down or when you're plummeting down, a steep decline. All right, what does it mean to you to be unleashed, the theme of this year's event here, not just as a small business owner, but as a person? And is there something still holding you back?
It kind of ties in with the last question. I feel like being unleashed is facing your fears and realizing that your options are limitless, your dreams are limitless, and to just seize the day. And if you're feeling like you want to expand your business or add a different location or switch things around completely, go for it.
Is there anything still holding you back?
Thank you. Gosh, that's a very good question. I feel like probably, so I need to look inward a little bit on that, but.
Well, thanks for your honesty.
Being unleashed, sometimes it's like watching those little cat videos or the dog videos where the dog comes out of the cage and doesn't quite know what to do once it's free. And for me, it's always been a little bit more unleashed, getting out of what I thought was holding me back and then exploring a little bit further. So it's not just, oh my God, I'm unleashed. It's just keep going a little bit further and a little bit further out and getting comfortable with that. And again, it's a real-time thing. So I don't know that there's any specific thing holding me back other than me, and not being comfortable being out there at the edge. So what's holding me back is discomfort, just not knowing how to get out there. And I guess talking with my hands, that's there.
I would say talking with your hands is a pro, so. Yeah, absolutely. I do the same thing, so I totally understand. So I would say, could you repeat the question, please?
What does it mean to you to be unleashed, not just as a small business owner, but as a person? And is there something still holding you back?
Yeah, okay. So I would say not being confined by the bounds of someone else's perception. And I think that really ties to what you shared, Ty, around what my family or my community has historically seen as a sense of security. And transparently, I stepped into the nonprofit sector, and as we know, grants and things ebb and flow depending on what's happening in the world. And I stepped into unemployment, and unemployment really forced my hand to understand what does it mean to not live in the confines of someone else, including the role that I'm in. And that allowed me to see that I have the ability to unleash myself time and time again, depending on what I'm interested in, depending on whom I meet, depending on any space that I'm in. And I've really worked to embody that in all avenues of my life. And that's what really started to force my hand in terms of entrepreneurship, because I've educated individuals on what it means to be an entrepreneur, but I was telling myself I wasn't quite ready, and I couldn't give a reason as to why I wasn't quite ready other than addressing my fears. So I knew that it was time to start doing some self-work in a way that would allow me to accept unleashing myself in all avenues.
To me, unleashing is having the courage to take the risk, as we all did starting our own business. We're the ones that hold ourselves back, and we're the only ones that can unleash ourselves, getting out of our comfort zone and being comfortable being uncomfortable. One thing that still holds me back is the fear of failure, and I think we all have that. We all are afraid to fail. But again, as stated earlier, would we want to be on our, deathbed and saying, man, I regret that? Or are we going to unchain ourselves, unleash ourselves, and go for the prize?
Well, since this is a social media marketing conference, let's actually talk about social media a little bit. But I do appreciate Jessica giving us the flexibility to talk about kind of the human side of being an entrepreneur. But Will, we'll start with you. What's a social media trend that you think is worth paying attention to, and one that is overhyped?
I don't know if I'm the best one to answer this one. I'm not big on following trends. I'm big on following what I believe is right. And I watch the data on my own stuff to see what's right and try to recreate rather than follow what somebody else is doing. So, not sure if that's the best answer.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that answer, because I would share that I guess someone could label it a trend, but right now it's very cool to be yourself. And that works in my favor because I'm very comfortable being myself. So it really yields some humanistic traction online. Yes, it's important and pivotal, and also though, what does that conversation and space look like once we're off the internet, once we're away from our devices? So I utilize social media in that way as a stepping stone to getting to know someone, getting to know other business owners and their businesses. In terms of overrated, I would say anything you feel you need to get because someone else says so, but you don't know if that's in alignment with where you are and who you are. So I heard, I believe her name was Katie, speak earlier about putting out bad social media and just doing it because others are doing it or because you think it's what you should be doing. And I really appreciated that because I work to be intentional, and that's what I work to remind myself, because everything with social media is moving so fast. So sometimes it feels like I'm constantly playing this game of catch up, and I'm working to relieve myself of that by just ensuring that I'm learning, staying curious, and posting what feels authentic to me while getting feedback that I value.
I agree. For me, what is sort of overhyped has been the idea that you really have to be everywhere all at once. Even though us in this room are learning that that's not true. But out in the real world, a lot of people still think, you know, I've got to be on whatever this new platform is. I've got to post 12 times a day, rather than actually running your business and putting out stuff that would bring people into your business. So I guess that's it for me. You know, the thing that's overhyped is being everywhere as opposed to just being smart and honest and true. Because when you're smart and honest and true about who you are, that attracts the people who want you to be in their world.
I'm going to agree with you on authenticity for sure. I look at our social media and on Facebook, for instance, the type of traction, the amount of traction that we get on posting authentic, this is what we're doing in real life, and not, oh, here's our new menu or new drink, but here's what our staff's doing, or here's what we did on our downtime. And we get more feedback and more love when people see your authentic self, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so I think that's the trend that everybody should follow. An overrated one, I agree with it just being oversaturated with the shiny. This is the good. This is the new thing that everybody wants, so we're going to jump on that bandwagon. I think that's overrated.
And I appreciate everybody's responses on this question because it's a difficult one to wrestle with when you go through a 2-day conference like this and you're hearing things like, you know, you want to disrupt things, you want to, you know, choose a side, you want to create a strong emotional feeling. And for some of us, if you're an introvert, that could be a challenge. So I think the wisdom coming out of these 4 folks here is to be yourself, to be your authentic self, and don't worry about follower count. Look at the engagement. Look at the people that are raising their hands and saying, yes, I want to follow you. Yes, thank you for sharing. The lives that you can touch when you're sharing your authentic self instead of chasing trends, and that may fly in the face of some of the things that others are saying, but you have to wrestle with that as an individual and find your voice. Our final question here: if you could use only one platform for the rest of 2026, what would it be and why?
Well, I'm kind of torn. Personally, I like Instagram myself. I see
No shame.
I know. I see a lot of inspiration on there. Facebook, business-wise, has been the best for us. We get the most traction, the most engagement of our customers. So to use for business, I would say old trusty Facebook for us.
I would go with YouTube. Some of it is because I'm a bit of a learning nerd. So the fact that you get all this space to sit and learn and absorb or share is where I would be.
I'm going to cheat a bit and give 2 answers because I have 2 businesses.
That's fair.
Okay, so I would say for my snack and beverage vending machine business, Facebook, just because of traction with longer established businesses and them being familiar with us. As a true millennial, I would say Instagram, definitely, for my creative and unique vending business, which we provide zines. I would love to connect with you all more to learn about zines, but I would definitely say Instagram. That's the way that I'm able to get the most traction in terms of being community-centered.
Torn between 2, but I would have to say it would be YouTube. You're able to get your short form, long form podcast. Not only that, you can still post on there as well. So the fact that you have everything all in one area, and that's the world's number 2 largest search engine. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Stuff's there for forever, so you take it down, and you can post something today, 5 years from now, it can still be getting seen. Where, as it was stated earlier, that other platforms, it dies out real fast. I think YouTube is the winner. It's been the winner for a long time.
Fantastic answers, everybody, and hopefully you've been able to take something away from this conversation here. With this group of entrepreneurs, I really feel like we were assembled by our fearless leader here because we're cut from the same cloth, not just as entrepreneurs, but finding very similar answers, the humanity, the common humanity, the imposter syndrome, the things that we all wrestle with every day as entrepreneurs. So thank you for your willingness to be open with the audience today. And I would encourage everyone to come up and talk with the panelists throughout the event, pick their brains, and we need more small businesses in this country. Small businesses are the backbone of America. So if you've been thinking about it, come on in, the water's fine. Thank you.
All right. Great job, guys. Fantastic. How are you guys doing? I'd like to introduce myself. Hello. My name is Icky Networking. I'd like to actually, speaking of, when we have a moment, while they're doing what they're doing, let me do a little bit of this. How are you doing? Hi, I'm a quick call. Give me a quick call enthusiast. Hey, how are you? Let's circle back forever. Hey, how you doing? I'm emotionally unavailable, but available for discovery calls. Can we connect so I can sell to you immediately? How are you doing? I'm a thought leader in thought leading. Hey, I noticed we both breathe oxygen. Good to meet you. Professional brain picker. How you doing? Synergy specialist. How you doing? Here's my calendar link. How you doing? Funnel goblin. Good to meet you. All right, guys, so we've all been there. Look, I'm not going to lie, I've been guilty of some of these, and I probably still am, so I am looking forward, and I need our next speaker, Ben Albert, because he's going to teach us some content strategies and ways to build a network in a way that eliminates being known as the icky networker. So please welcome to the stage, Ben Albert.
Thank you.
2026.
Let's throw some stuff.
Ben Albert.
They're soft, don't be afraid.
No forced handshakes, no awkward pitch, just content with purpose that helps people click.
This way, have to go real far.
Open the right doors before you walk. No icky networking, no chasing the crowd. Lead with your value, let your content speak loud. Social media,
If I can get it back here.
let's get it started. Make some noise right now.
For Ben Albert.
See, I try to throw it with this, but the bracelet comes off.
What's happening, Social Media Week, Lima? So you're creating content. You're building your network and community online. You want to grow your brand. You want to build your network. You want to help as many people as possible. I hate to say it, it's going to suck. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to post the wrong thing. It will feel icky. There was a great setup here with icky networking. I was never a big, extroverted life of the party, lots of sounds and clanking. I wasn't good at the business card handing out things. It felt icky. Posting content felt cringy. The reality is it's going to be cringe, and you are going to be cringe. It's the unfortunate truth. You are going to get this face once in a while, and you're going to look at some of the things you've said and did, and you're going to cringe at yourself. Being cringe and putting in massive effort is a non-negotiable requirement. If you're building your business, if you're building your brand, creating content, building a network, being cringe and putting in effort is non-negotiable. You have to climb Cringe Mountain to get to the land of cool. What's the land of cool? Everything just, is rocking it. You've got lots of business, you're popular online, you're hitting your quarterly goals, everything's crushing it. Well, it's non-negotiable that you have to go through that cringe phase to get to the land of cool. And the thing is, you're climbing up Cringe Mountain. It's not easy. You're struggling. There are going to be people at base camp giving you some weird faces, making fun of you, judging you. They're at base camp. They're not even walking up the mountain. And anyone who's walked up the mountain knows that you have to be cringe. You have to climb Cringe Mountain to get to the land of cool. But there's a problem. You get a little bit of momentum. You get a little bit of feedback, you start to move, and you realize that there's going to be a whole nother mountain. And getting to the land of cool is going to be way more difficult than you had originally anticipated. There's a whole nother mountain. A lot can happen. You get some momentum, then you find yourself going back downhill, back uphill. It's not going to be as easy as you thought. I call that the discouragement dip, where you're just discouraged. Is it worth it to go out there meeting people, post, learn? I'm trying to do all these things. Am I ever going to get to the land of cool? Am I ever going to reach my goals? What if I told you that we could bridge the gap, where you could skip the discouragement dip, avoid that terrible despair, get to the next mountain quicker, obviously on your way to the land of cool? We'd all want that, right? The easiest way to do it is to bring peers alongside you. If it's going to be tough, you're building a network, you're building content, you're creating, bring peers alongside of you on the journey, and mentors will help bridge that gap. They've been in the discouragement dip, they've failed, so you don't have to. So they will create bridges for you, help you along the way. They've been up that mountain themselves, so they know what it feels like to go through it. And if you bring peers alongside you, it's way more fun and way easier for everyone involved. And with good effort, some relentless pursuit, you can ascend to the land of cool. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. The key there is you don't have to climb Cringe Mountain alone. And we're going to talk about the strategy I use. Before, I just want to shout out Erica Mallet. You can write this down because it's an hour-long video. Google Real Business Connections, Erica Mallet on Real Business Connections. She created the concept of Cringe Mountain. I've expanded on it. This is my podcast where her and I basically workshop it there on the spot. She also talks about how like Kanye West is uncancelable and a bunch of controversial stuff. So look that up later, but shout out to Erica Mallet. She's the first one who taught me about Cringe Mountain. Now let's talk about a surprisingly, I don't know why it's so surprising. It's very simple. Everyone can be doing it in a seemingly unconventional content strategy that will build your network without icky networking. Before we dive in, if you don't know me yet, great to meet you. I'm Ben. I'm definitely a hippie music fan. There is a problem though. Music Ben, hippie Ben, was broke, unemployed, and non-essential during a COVID pandemic. So I had to reinvent myself and become Business Ben, who's an entrepreneur. And I utilize these strategies we talked about today to build my podcast, Real Business Connections, top 1% globally, my community of Grow-Getters only, 300 paid members, more people at virtual networking events, growth-oriented go-getters, all using this strategy. I built my podcast, my marketing company, my community, and the podcast has been endorsed and talked about by basically people that were mentors that I would listen to in bed, people that literally are speaking on this stage, from billion channel, YouTube channels, to, Cal Fussman co-wrote Larry King's book, to Mark Schaefer, Jessica Suter, so on and so forth. I don't show any of that to impress you, just to impress upon the point that I did it all using this system. I call it the CAN system, C-A-N. Create content, collaborate, community, and networking. So we're doing two things in silos a lot of the time. We're trying to create content. We want to build community, a brand. We want to post. And then we're over here networking, handing out business cards, elevator pitches, this and that. And I didn't really feel that comfortable doing either of them. So I said, what if I could create the content strategy while I network? What if the meaning and purpose behind networking was to create something new, where every time I network, I'm creating something, and every time I create something, there's networking involved. So you don't have to pick up a phone and just talk into the void because I don't feel comfortable, I feel cringy, icky doing it. What if I could find ways that I could create content and collaborate? And that's where the CAN system came about. The meaning and purpose of your creation is to network, and so on and so forth. They come together. So when you're creating and networking, together you build content, relationships, and an audience seamlessly. So it makes collaboration easy, relationship building seamless, and success feel accidental and definitely not too cringe. Now, a couple reminders, and then we're going to go over 5 or more strategies on how you can use this CAN system: content and networking, community and networking. Reminder, relationships is referrals. People are wondering how to get more referrals, build more relationships. I call it a free trial, because if I create something with a co-collaborator, if I add massive value, we work on something together, whether it's a podcast, an event, so on and so forth. We'll go over some great examples. They might have never hired me to do business, but they know what it would feel like to hire me because we've worked together on this collaboration. So a lot of the people you collaborate and network with, you're building content with, they might become clients, but beyond that, since they've received the free trial of what it's like to refer you, they're going to be your greatest advocates to grow your business, grow your brand, provide referrals for you. So let me break it down with 5 simple examples, and then I'll give you like 50 plus that you can take home later by the end of this talk. And the first one is podcasts. I want to talk about Yvonne Verity, but Ben, I'm going to talk about myself for like 20 seconds because I wouldn't have a business without it. Pandemic hit, I'm unemployed. I start Rochester Business Connections, Rochester, New York Business Connections, because I needed some. And I reached out to SUNY State University, New York, SUNY Brockport alumni, that's where I went to school, and said, hey, I'm starting this Rochester, New York-based podcast highlighting local leaders. Would you be open to get highlighted on my show? And the kid who needed connections suddenly was this like expert on marketing and podcasting and connecting, even though I hardly even knew how to use a CRM at the time. But every day I was learning from these leaders. They were becoming mentors, they were becoming peers, they were becoming advocates and sometimes clients. And I was able to build my brand and my marketing firm through this relationship, this creating and networking with business leaders in my city. Now Rochester Business Connections is 1% worldwide, and it's evolved quite a bit, but that's where I all began. And Yvonne Verity, when she started her podcast, was way farther along than I was when I started mine. I don't know if anyone knows Don and Yvonne Verity. They co-founded Clean Eats. Just out of curiosity, does anyone know Clean Eats? A few? There isn't any right here in Lima. I know there's one in Mentor. There's Clean Eats across Ohio. There's actually over 120 Clean Eats locations in the United States. It's health food. It's health cafes. They also do meal delivery, dietitians, so on and so forth. So she started with one Clean Eats, has now franchised it out to over 120. They make lots of money, help a lot of people get thin, healthy, but no one knows who Yvonne is just yet. Yvonne Verity, she starts Rebel Roots podcast because she wants to get out there. She wants to ultimately find more franchisees. She wants to build a personal brand. But more important than anything about her, she wants to highlight on her podcast, Rebel Roots, she wants to highlight rebel women, women that are crushing it, whether it's in fitness or health or entrepreneurs, but doing it a different way. She's a rebel woman. She wants to highlight these rebel women, so she brings them to come on, everything from IFBB pro bodybuilders to people that, survived a traumatic accident. and she's creating content as she networks and builds an audience with these women. Great YouTube content, social media, so on and so forth. But beyond that, we already touched on this. She owns Clean Eats. They have franchisees all across the United States. These guests would make great franchise owners, or they would make great ambassadors for Clean Eats, or who knows, they might know someone that Yvonne needs to know. So she's making these strategic relationships while she creates content, while she builds Clean Eats. And it literally came out as I was driving here yesterday. Her first ever TED Talk came out, and she was on the front cover of Wilmington, North Carolina's magazine, Wilma Magazine. Rebel Roots was on the cover. People didn't know Yvonne until she started Rebel Roots podcast, and by creating content and networking, she continues to help more men and women as she does just that. Example number 2 is my favorite one, because Marcus kind of did this all accidentally, and I'm like, this was brilliant. He's like, yeah, I share the story, but it was a complete accident. Marcus loves photography. He always had loved taking pictures, but his full-time job is as a financial consultant. I don't know if you guys know much about finance or have done social media for financial companies. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot that you can and can't not say. There's compliance. You create something you love, compliance rejects it. It creates a lot of frustration and apathy. There's nothing audacious about it. Everybody seems boring in the industry. So Marcus didn't even want to post content. He really just wasn't feeling it, but he enjoyed his photography, and his kids played Little League, so he'd go to the games, and he would, just take pictures of the games, post them on Facebook, post them on Instagram. Took a lot of passion, supporting his kids at the local games. I wasn't in the room, so I'm paraphrasing, but the parents would come up to Marcus and they would say, I don't want to be creepy, but can you take some pictures of my sons at the next game? I really want you to get up there and take a great picture of my son. So before you know it, Marcus is like, I'm going to be a full-time photographer for this next game. And he would go to the Little League games. He would take pictures of the entire game. He would get everyone's emails so he could easily take all the photos, upload them to a Google Drive, share that Google Drive file with all the families that are there at the game, and just have one document with a note. I'm giving this to you to use for, commercial free. I love to do this service, but if you can do just one thing for me, can you tag me on social media? Can you invite me as a collaborator on Instagram? It would mean the world. So now this financial advisor is taking all these photos, and his entire social media is being run by other co-collaborators, the parents, simply because they're tagging the kids in photos he took. At what point has he talked about finance? At no point. But do you think he's built crazy amounts of trust with those parents and those families that he's taking pictures of their sons? So what ends up happening is, do you do weddings? Do you do events? Oh, no, I love photography, but really what I do for a living is I protect and grow the assets of families. So Marcus, from year 1 to year 2, literally tripled his new business acquisition through the relationships he built via photography without ever talking about numbers with any of these people during that lead acquisition networking phase. Very, very powerful and creative. He did it accidentally, but you can gamify it and you can ultimately be intentional with this as well. This one I want to turn into a choose your own adventure. So there's 2 things you can write down in front of you, 1 and 2. 1, I hope you already have a good answer to. What is your expertise? What is your specialty? What are you just really darn good at or really darn passionate about? Number 2, what charity, if you know the exact one, that's even better, but what charity, what cause, what's most important to you? What charity, what cause, what mission is most important to you? And then you just ask yourself a simple question. Does this charity, does this cause need My expertise? Can I apply my expertise to help people with this cause? The answer 99 times out of 100 is going to be yes. So what you can do is you can ultimately volunteer your expertise in many different ways. Joining a board's great. I'm on the board in Rochester, New York, Association of Supply Chain Management. I don't know anything about supply chain management. I don't even know how I got there, but I do some of the marketing stuff. But I have made friends on that board and community members that, I say this with love, I would have never spent any time with if I wasn't on that board. And by joining that board, I get to meet new friends, get new perspectives, learn about an industry that I didn't know quite much about. Or let's say there's a specific event that you want to highlight. You want to be a part of an event. You want to be a part of a cause. And you know that in some cases, sponsors pay hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to be on the billboard, to be talked about on stage, to be on the ticket. You know that a sponsor slot is very valuable. But let's say in this scenario, you don't have the funds, but you know your specialties and you know the cause and you know how you can add value to that cause. You come to the organizers and you basically said, hey, I'd love to volunteer my expertise in exchange for a sponsor slot. And you do just that. And before you know it, if you're a marketer, you're doing copywriting for the event, or you're doing graphics, or you're doing the website, or you're live streaming it, or taking photos or videos. You're applying your expertise. Then you're backstage with the speakers. You're going to the special dinners. You're meeting the large donors that do have the funds. And you're building your network without icky networking, because all you had to do is apply your expertise to a cause that you cared about, and now you're in the door, and now you have a seat at the table. And I'd love to talk after and hear what you guys are passionate about, because we can choose our own adventure with this example. It's very, very valuable. It's very impactful as well. This is the lowest hanging fruit you could ever come up with. Share other people's stuff. Create content, collaborate, and network. If I don't know what to post, just share someone else's stuff. Now, this is terrible for the algorithm. Not going to pretend that it's good. I used to be an algorithm Nazi. I was timing out all my posts. I wanted to go viral. I'd get a little bit of, but nobody was buying anything from me, and I wasn't doing any lead generation or starting any conversations. And I found just by sharing other people's stuff, so let me break this down simply for you. You're going to obviously like it first. Let's assume you already hearted it. You comment, reshare, DM the person who posted it. Comment, reshare, direct message. Comment, reshare, direct message. Do you think after you reshare and commented on their post and then you message them that they're going to take your message? People are on my LinkedIn DMs all day long trying to pitch me. If they just reshared my post, DM'd me, hey, I loved your post, I appreciate it, can we start a conversation? I would take that call. So all you have to do is comment, reshare, DM. Instagram, you could just add to stories all day long. And no, this isn't great for the algorithm, but we're talking about creating a network and content without icky networking. It's a great way to get someone's attention, get in the door, and to take this strategy a little bit beyond. Let's do two fun examples. So first off, LinkedIn's a great example I can show you later. You can create a custom feed. But basically, you bookmark all the people you want to follow, and then you go to the people that you ultimately want to do business with, want to collaborate with, ideal customer profile. You bookmark those people, you comment, you DM them, you reshare it. Very simple. Or let's say you take it a second level up and you actually subscribe to all your ideal customers' email lists. And the smaller the email list, the better. If you're working with niche businesses, small email list businesses, you subscribe to their email list, and all you got to do is comment on their emails. I've been through this many times myself and with a lot of businesses I work with. They have an email list of 10,000, and they get 2 replies. Email list of 600 with a great CTA, 7 replies. Don't you think you would stand out if you were in that 7? So it's as simple as not even creating anything new, just being an ambassador for good stuff. Reply to their email, you'll get their attention, they'll want to get on a call with you. Again, you can create a very strategic, powerful network without icky networking just by sharing their content and talking about what they do and being an ambassador for others. I love this example because I don't like this graphic. I made this graphic, I think it's ugly, but it was the very first time I went viral on LinkedIn. Was just starting my business, 4,000, 5,000 connections, but this was the first time I went viral, and then I went viral like 11 times in the course of 90 days, and it was literally just partnering with Richard Vanderbloom. So Richard had 150, 175,000, some massive amount of connections. And the short version is every year he puts out a LinkedIn algorithm report that breaks down the LinkedIn algorithm and studies like 700,000 accounts to create this report. So I said, hey, Richard, obviously your report's incredible. If you're not opposed, I'd love to create infographics that can be micro lessons for your report. I want to share it with my audience. I want to tag the report, tag you, and the only thing I ask is, can I DM you as I post it? You can leave a little comment, and if you like the graphic, click reshare. And it doesn't work quite as well today as it did in 2022 when this first came out, but every time Richard reshared my post, it would go viral immediately. It would open me up to his 170,000 followers. I was getting hundreds of requests a day. I was getting people DMing me. I suddenly was this thought leader when all I did is create average looking graphics for his incredible report. But again, create content and network. I found a way to add value to Richard's audience. So he opened that audience up to me, and he got someone creating content for him without him having to lift a finger other than just, hey, thanks for the infographic, quick comment kind of thing. So these are many, many examples, but I've written down my favorite 52. You can actually download the PDF. And I want to multitask because we only have so much time here, but scan that code, realbusinessconnections.com/Ken, and I'm going to multitask so I don't go over time. I've got these pins here. At any point, I'd love for people to come up and grab one. They are, and someone's got to come up or else I'll be embarrassed. There we go, our first taker. They're pins that represent the things that you will bring with you when you climb Cringe Mountain. You're going to see trees, you might want a camera. Each pin represents part of that journey on Cringe Mountain. And the reason that I invite you to take one is when you're being cringe, when it feels icky, when you're networking, this can serve as a reminder of many ways that we've all been cringy, we've all struggled, we all had to climb Cringe Mountain to get to the land of cool. So these pins serve as a reminder. If you'd like to take one home with you, I'd appreciate that. I also invite you guys to join my community for 90 days. It's a paid community. There's about 300 of us right now, grow-getters only, weallgrowtogether.com. And it's growth-oriented go-getters, business, marketing, sales, entrepreneurship, looking for that peer-to-peer support. If we're going to network, if we're going to create content, if we're going to climb Cringe Mountain, we want to bring peers with us. So people pay to be a part of this, but since you're here at Social Media Week Lima, you can join us free for 90 days. You just email grow to concierge@realbusinessconnections.com. If you scan the code, it'll autofill, or come to me afterwards and we can talk. I'll get you in the group. So a quick summary as we close out today's session. You have to climb Cringe Mountain to ascend to the land of cool, but there's a problem. As you gain momentum, you realize it ain't going to be as easy as I thought it would be. And it's a high probability you're going to hit a discouragement dip where you find yourself going downhill. Well, what if you could bridge the gap and not have to go up and down, new level, new devil? Let's bridge the gap. Let's get there quicker. You can do that by using the CAN system, by creating content, collaborating, and networking. You don't have to network with one silo, content in another silo. You can bridge the gap and do both of them simultaneously. And if you do that, you'll find that you're taking peers with you on the journey through Cringe Mountain. It's really not as cringy or as bad when you've got people with you by your side. Your mentors will serve as the leaders that can bridge the gap. They've been in the discouragement gap. They've struggled. You don't have to, so they'll bridge the gap for you. And if you put in a lot of work and time and you're passionate about what you do and you truly care, I promise you, it might take a little while. It's not always easy. It can be cringy. But you, my friends, will ascend to the land of cool. Thanks for having me, Social Media Week, Lima. Appreciate y'all.
Outstanding. Great job, brother. All right, so we're going to do something kind of cool, a little different.